We're always celebrating the viral hits, the videos that just explode overnight. But what if I told you the real secret to growing on YouTube isn't hidden in your successes, but in your biggest flops? Today, we are going to break down how 100 failed videos, 100, became the ultimate blueprint for growth.
I mean, just think about that for a second. It completely flips the script on how we think about making content. The goal isn't to avoid failure at all costs. It's about learning how to use it, how to turn every single flop into fuel for your next video. So let's dive into this story. It starts in a place that, let's be honest, probably sounds super familiar to a lot of creators out there. Putting in all the work, all the hours, with almost nothing to show for it. Okay, so picture it. You're spending endless hours creating, editing, uploading, just hoping for the best. It's all about quantity over quality, right? Just pumping out videos with this kind of blind faith that something will eventually stick. But there's no real plan, no direction. Ringing any bells? 100, that's the number. This is the number that changed everything. 100 videos that, by pretty much any metric you can think of, just failed. But here's the thing. This number doesn't represent 100 dead ends. No way. It represents a massive data set. It's 100 detailed lessons on exactly what not to do. Look, after putting in that much effort for basically zero results, something had to give. It wasn't about just tweaking a title here or changing a thumbnail there anymore. This was a moment that demanded a complete, down-to-the-studs, radical overhaul of the entire creative process. So you've got this huge pile of data from 100 failed videos. What did it actually show? Well, it turns out 3 really clear patterns started to emerge. The core mistakes that were absolutely killing the channel's potential. And the mistakes were so clear in hindsight. First up, chasing trends. This just led to content that felt, well, fake, and viewers can sniff that out a mile away. Second, completely ignoring the goldmine of feedback sitting right there in the comment section. And finally, the branding was a total mess. One week it's a comedy sketch, the next it's a software tutorial. It gives your audience whiplash and no reason to stick around. And this is where the story really takes a turn. This is the pivot from just feeling frustrated to being focused. The creators stopped just, throwing content at the wall and hoping something would stick. Instead, they started looking for real answers in the one place that has zero bias, the data. And here's the key insight. Not all metrics are created equal. Instead of obsessing over something simple like view count, the focus shifted to 2 true North Stars, watch time and audience retention. These are the ones that tell you not just if people are clicking, but for how long they're actually sticking around. And maybe even more importantly, the exact moment they lose interest. That is the real sign of connection. The entire strategy just got flipped on its head. Guessing was out, and data-driven A/B testing was in. Chasing those empty views was replaced by a hunt for meaningful watch time. It was a complete shift from a focus on quantity to a relentless obsession with quality. I absolutely love this way of thinking about your YouTube studio. Instead of looking at a dip in audience retention and seeing it as a failure, it becomes a coaching moment. The data isn't there to tell you you failed. It's there to say, hey, look, right here, this is the exact spot where you can improve for the next one. Okay, but here's the thing. Optimizing your videos for the algorithm, that's only half the battle. The next huge breakthrough came from this realization that you're not just making content for a machine, you're making it for actual people. So right after mastering the data, the focus shifted to something that analytics can't quite measure perfectly, and that's the human connection. So how do you actually build that connection? Well, you get in there and you participate. You respond to comments, you create inside jokes, you make people feel like they're part of an exclusive club. This is how you turn a passive viewer into a true fan who's going to show up for every video. It's all about just being you, consistently and authentically. All right, so we've dug through the failures, we've seen the big transformation. Now let's take all of those lessons and distill them into a super clear, actionable blueprint that you can actually apply to your own channel right now. So the blueprint is basically 4 steps. First, niche down. You gotta focus. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Second, study success. Analyze what's working for other people in your space. Third, embrace iteration. You have to make sure your 10th video is a clear, obvious improvement on your first. And finally, master the hook. You have literally seconds to earn a viewer's attention. Make every single one count. So, when you boil it all down, the ultimate lesson from these 100 failed videos is this: failure is not a verdict. It is not the end of the road. It is the most powerful and, frankly, the most honest feedback you will ever get. It shows you exactly where the cracks are, so you can build something even stronger next time. And that really brings us to the final thoughts. Look, it's inevitable. Your next video might not perform the way you hope. It happens. But the real question isn't if you'll fail again, it's what are you going to do with that failure? What's the lesson you're going to pull from it, and what are you going to build with it?